I'm going to put in the chat a link to a Google Doc that everyone can just click on and access. And then if people have questions, or I can start typing in questions as well, that that anyone might have about the return to school. Like, what are you worried? What do you wonder? Those types of things. I'm putting it in the chat right now. Does it, and if you don't feel comfortable typing, if you just want to throw out questions, what it's going to look like, what do you want?
Breaking out. Type in the chat.
To ask the administration how they're.
Options.
Yeah, no, I'll just type in the Google Doc. I should have some facilitating music or something to fill the white space, I guess. But is this going to work if we all kind of type in here? So just a reminder for kids to bring more than one mask. Feedback about the meals, yes. I don't know if everybody was able to listen into the board meeting last night. They talked through some of the safety protocols. So I would encourage everyone to listen into that. Also, if you have some questions, they also talked about the return to school and the percentage of students that will be staying virtual. So at Northside, I think it was around 20% of Northside students that will stay in the virtual model, or that will be in the virtual model. Some students will be transitioning in February 1st. And I also saw Pope Farm had 35% of their students that was going to be virtual come February 1st. So that seemed like a large percentage of the population. Yeah, and I think Candy too, you had the question for kindergartners too, right? If they were gonna, were you able to get that one answered about the back to school program that they sent communication about having the kindergartners in a little early?
Yeah, Mr. Nguyen did tell me that, yeah, they're gonna have those orientation days a couple days ahead of time. Yeah.
Okay. I think they also mentioned on the board meeting, they pulled up a sample schedule, and they had the thought was that they would actually start including encore classes in person to facilitate kind of that downtime for the teachers to plan for their asynchronous time. So I was just curious what Wednesdays would look like.
I just popped the most recent board meeting YouTube link into the top of the document. Since that does cover, I know this isn't the appropriate place for disseminating resources, but if anyone on this meeting is interested in looking at that, there's a short link for you.
Do we know at this point if the board decided to bring the middle school and the high school kids back?
They haven't voted on that yet. They were going to do their walkthroughs in the next couple weeks here, and then they were going to vote. I don't remember the date. That I think that first meeting in February, they were going to vote on if the board felt comfortable with the safety and the mitigation strategies they had in place.
Gotcha.
This is a great list. Thanks, everyone. So the plan is we'll take this back and share it with the PTO board, and we'll talk through with Mr. Nguyen and the superintendent if there's any additional questions that we feel like we can't answer. The answer today is we might not know the answer yet, but the plan will then be to share this back out with the group via our Facebook page, or if you just want a separate email, feel free to drop me a note and I can send it to you when we have all the questions populated.
I think what I can do is just looking at this list, I can answer as much as I can.
Oh, great.
Would that be something that would be of interest?
If you absolutely feel comfortable, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Again, just one of the things that we are recognizing and knowing about a pandemic is that things change really fast. So I'm going to set that stage up to say that I can answer as best as I can, but knowing that things will potentially change as well. But here, as of we can timestamp it as of 7:09 on January 12th. Here are some of the responses. Okay. As far as cohorts being connected, I know that our teachers are working on trying to bring synchronous learning so that if students who are in cohort A or cohort 1 into the month of February, the third week, there will be at least morning meetings, and then building that up so that students will have more synchronous learning from both cohorts. So shifting away from more of the asynchronous and having more synchronous for the students who are home, right? So that's one way, because right now we don't have the physical space to have all the kids in here. So that's one of the reasons why we moved to a 2-1-2, right? Because there's not physical space to have 6 feet apart to have all the kids come in. As far as masks, yes, please have students should have at least 2, if not 3 masks, especially during the winter, like outside and playing, it gets really wet, and being able to have extra masks on hand. I know that in our last PTO meeting, we talked about mask drives for students or staff. I think we can lean into that more, just so that we have masks available. And also know at school too, we also have extra masks too. But if the idea is for them to have at least 2 or 3 masks to have on hand. Lunch right now, what we're gonna do is we wanna keep the same cohort for safety. So students will walk with their teacher. So it'd be cold lunch, kids who are getting milk, or hot lunch. And the hallways the hallways at Northside right now are marked. So there's a center line so that kids will know to stay to the right or to the left, but the center line also marks 6 feet apart. So it's kind of like a rough estimate for kids to like walk 6 feet apart to get their lunch and then actually head back to the classroom to have lunch. That one of the main reasons for that is because we have to make sure that the kids go through that line so that we can double check for allergies, food allergies. Because if we can order ahead of time, there might be some missed opportunities, and kids might get something that they're not supposed to get. So this way, then we know, because it will pop up on the screen, that students have allergies. So that's some of the lunch procedures. Again, we have a lot more detailed. As a matter of fact, there are several committees right now on our pandemic plan, Northside pandemic plan, that we're working through, like each component. What does that look like to enter the school? What's that look like in the hallways? What's that look like for lunch? What's that look like for recess, using bathrooms? So all those things have been planned, and we are trying to figure out how to, at this point, share that information with students coming back, and then also making sure that our staff knows exactly what the expectations are. And then you all will get a video on the week of January 19th to kind of give you a preview of what school would look like, right? So I will be on there telling you, this is how we enter the school, here's how we walk in the hallways, here are the expectations for getting a drink of water, and so forth. So that information will still be coming out to all of you, okay? There are very, very strict protocols for COVID-19. That information, I think Perry had sent that out, and I know that we will also send that out prior to kids coming back. The rule of thumb is if they are sick, then they just need to stay home. There's no temperature check in a sense where we check the temperature in it. That would mean like we have over 200 students to check before they walk into the school. So most of the protocol is on our families at home. And we also do have spaces in our school. We have a place where we have students who are sick that they can go to, and we have strict protocols to take care of them. And for the most part, right now we're saying that families and volunteers cannot come in. So we're working really hard on keeping students who are in away from just more contact of visitors coming in. A lot of that stuff will be phone calls and working with our office to, let's say if your child are sick, we literally will contain them and then also deliver them to and help guide them outside to get into the spaces and cars that they need to. So parents wouldn't need to even come in for that. Supervision, arrangements for restrooms, other public spaces, all this stuff will be taught by our teachers, and we will spend the first several weeks on going over some of the rules and expectations. So pretty similar, if you think about it, of how we started the school year. So the first 6 weeks of school, we want to build relationship again, go over the rules and making sure that our students know the expectation. And the most important part, make sure that they are happy and safe and excited to be in school and to learn. So all those things have to be balanced. But for sure, the 3 tools that we have are for sure mask, space, distancing, social space, social distancing, and then washing hands. Those are the only 3 things that we will, not the only thing, but those are the 3 that we have that we will highlight over and over again for our staff and for our students. So recess, as far as recess is concerned, there will be certain zones, because what we do is we want to keep the students within their same cohort. So all the students will have a zone to play in. So those of you who are familiar with Northside know that there's the red playground, the big tall one, that's zone 1. The blue playground, that's zone 2. The green is zone 3, and then the field would be zone 4. That's what we have planned so far, and the kids will go to those zones probably for 1 week and then rotate to go to different zones the following week. But the idea is that they have to mask up when they're at recess as well. So I want to make sure that that's clear. Like part of the safety plan is that they have to keep their mask on when they are playing during recess, which is a little bit different than when we set up what we call mass breaks. We have, for us to be thinking about kids and things that are developmentally appropriate and just out of kindness of our young kiddos, it's hard for me to not have plans for them to have a mass break, because that's a long time for them to have their mask on. And the mass breaks will be outside, and what they would do is walk on the wellness path outside to have mass breaks. And that's going to be scheduled in by our teachers. And again, our teachers know, and I trust our teachers because they know the students best and know when to do that. So that's recess. As far as kids on the bus, again, I know that there was a video that was shared, again, part of the school board meeting. I know that there was a video put together for transportation, and I know that there will be every other seat for students unless they're siblings. And students who are coming in first will go to the last seat on the bus and then work their way up the front, right? And then for dismissal, and when they come into our school, it's the first student, and someone will monitor students getting out of the bus. There will be someone monitoring our doors. And then the goal is to have them walk straight to their classroom with everything on, so that the teachers can take care of dismissing students to go to their cubbies to put up the coats, so that they can be assured that they're 6 feet apart. So those plans are in place. They're very, very detailed, but that's what I can share with you as far as the entry and the seating on the bus. And specifically on the doors, this will be shared again in the video, but as of right now, we're gonna have kindergarten and 4th grade enter the front door, right? And the way that our school works, I'm gonna have the kindergarten walk through the farthest, the door closest to the office, because then they go straight back into kindergarten, where 4th grade would be the door farthest away from the office in the front entrance because they take that left to go to 4th grade. Does that make sense? And then, so that's door, if you think about door, that's the entrance is door 1. Door 2 is like the middle door facing the front. Door 3 is the side door where we just paved the sidewalk. I don't remember that used to been gravel, but now it's paved. That door 3 will be 1st grade, and then door 4 would be 2nd and 3rd grade. Okay, and right now we will have people monitoring that to make sure that there's spacing between, and then our goal is to get students in our school. And part of that too is that we're hoping, and we'll send this message out, that when they are dropped off at school, that they don't come before 7:30, just because we want to make sure that we have staff, we have the people in the places that we need them to be to help usher our students back in. Okay. Some other questions that I can answer today. Supplies. So school supplies right now, our grade level team are working on what is it that they can put in kind of their crayon and marker kind of Tupperware box, right? So that they can keep at school. Because some of those materials, like someone had mentioned in the question, it's just hard to haul those things back and forth. So you all have those kind of materials at home, and then we'll have one at school too. So those will have 2 sets. The big ticket items will be brought from school and from home back and forth. And those are the computer, potentially the writing journals, math journals, just because we can't get a duplicate of that in both settings. And the idea behind that is that just in case, let's say a class has an outbreak, then you, as the child and the family, have the computer ready to go if we need to close down a school or close down a classroom. Does that make sense? So like the bigger ticket items would be the things that would be carried back and forth. But as far as like the markers and crayons, and in some classes, they might use a lot of the scissors and whatnot. The classroom teachers are creating a list. And that's something that I've talked to PTO about. That's something that we probably need support in funding that, because we're in a situation where we don't have the budget to have all these things for school and for home. Let's see. I'm looking at the document here. Yeah, I mean, as far as yeah, as far as like any other questions, like put it in this document, and we just like what we did with our kindergarten orientation or our PTO meeting last time, we can create a question and answer document to share out to our community.
I think it's going to be a quick one, Mr. Nguyen. Is there an after-school Y program at the school this year?
At this point, the answer is no. There will not be an after-school program. The connection that we had was the YMCA, and they have shared with me recently that they don't have the staff to do that this year. What I'm doing is trying to see if we can have other after-school programs to see if we can contract with them. But at this point, we have no after-school. Anything else? I guess my final comment to our families out there and our families who are watching as well, because I know that this is being recorded. Just know that our teachers are working incredibly hard to make this happen. We have an amazing staff here at Northside that thinks about three basic things, which is to keep your child safe, happy, and learning. And we will continue to do that through a pandemic or not. And as far as supporting our students, we will work really, really hard to make sure that we keep our Northside community together. So that means our students who are coming face to face or virtual. We have this saying here that once a Northsider, always a Northsider, which is that we will take care and be available to all of you. And this is just my last comment to our families, that I understand how difficult the decisions are. I have a child in the district as well, but just know that there's no wrong or right answer to this. Whatever you decide is the right answer. What we have to do at school here as a staff is to make sure that we take care of the kids in front of us and the kids who are online, because they're Northside kids, period. Okay? And I thought I was done. Finally, I want to thank our PTO. They're amazing. They've kept this work afloat, and they've been so flexible in their thinking. They've been so kind in supporting not only me, but our students at Northside. And we would really, really encourage people to be a part of the PTO, just because it's a wonderful space of kind, thoughtful people, and you all get a chance to be with me. So so that's something that I think that moving forward, we still need to continue to have a strong PTO, and I think we have it. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank all our families for riding the wave, right? We're riding the wave. We will get through this. I know that we will, because we have amazing community and amazing staff, and most importantly, amazing kids. So I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, I just want to, if there are people who are interested in running for the board positions, again, it's the president-elect. We don't currently have anyone in the hopper for, but the nominations are open for treasurer and secretary as well, and we'll have an election. Just that process is you can self-nominate and you can spread the word. And we'll also be posting this on Facebook too and putting it out in e-news, but you can self-nominate for a position, or you can nominate a friend. They just need to be a Northside parent. And and if you do nominate someone, we will reach out to them to see if they accept the nomination. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Nguyen, for providing your insights. We appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us, and thank you to all the families that were able to join us this evening as well. If you have any additional questions, feel free to follow up with anyone on the board. And thanks. That's all we had. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.